I was a criminal, locked in a cell, my life in ruins. But one moment changed everything. The prison cell was cold, the kind of cold that seeps into your bones and stays there. Malik sat on the edge of his metal bunk, staring at the cracked concrete wall. At 24, he felt like his life was already over. The clanging of iron bars echoed in his mind, a constant reminder of the mistakes that landed him here. Armed robbery, a desperate act born from a life of poverty, anger, and bad choices. He wasn't a bad person, he told himself, but the world didn't care. Society had labeled him a convict, a failure, a nobody. Malik grew up in a rough neighborhood where survival meant fighting for every scrap. His mother worked 3 jobs to keep food on the table, but it was never enough. His father, gone before Malik could even remember his face. By 15, Malik was running with the wrong crowd, chasing quick money and respect in all the wrong places. School was a distant memory, replaced by street corners and late-night deals. He thought he was in control, but the streets owned him. The robbery was supposed to be simple. In and out, no one gets hurt. But plans fail, and Malik's did, spectacularly. A security guard tackled him, the police arrived, and the handcuffs clicked shut. The judge's gavel fell like a hammer, sentencing him to 7 years. His mother's tears in the courtroom burned worse than any punishment. "I'm sorry, Ma," he whispered, but she couldn't hear him over her sobs. Prison was a world of its own, grey, brutal, hopeless. Days blurred into weeks, then months. Malik kept his head down, but the weight of his regrets grew heavier. He saw men lose themselves to anger, others to despair. He wondered if that would be his fate too. Was this it? A life defined by one stupid mistake? Then came the letter. It was from his younger sister, Aisha, only 16, but wise beyond her years. Her handwriting was neat, deliberate, every word chosen with care. "Malik," she wrote, "you're not your mistakes. You're my brother. You're strong. Don't let this place take your soul. Come back to us." At the bottom, she'd drawn a small heart, just like she used to when they were kids. Malik read the letter again and again, his throat tight. For the first time in years, he cried. That letter was a spark. It didn't erase the pain or the guilt, but it gave him something he'd lost. Hope. Aisha believed in him. Maybe, just maybe, he could believe in himself too. Malik decided to change. It wasn't easy. Prison wasn't built for redemption. But he started small. He enrolled in a literacy program, teaching himself to read better. He'd always struggled with words, but now he devoured books, history, philosophy, stories of people who overcame impossible odds. Each page felt like a step toward a new version of himself. He joined a prison workshop, learning carpentry. His hands, once used for stealing, now shaped wood into something beautiful. He made a small table for the prison library, and when the other inmates praised it, he felt a flicker of pride. Not the hollow kind from the streets, but real, earned pride. The biggest challenge was facing himself. In group therapy, Malik had to talk about his past, his choices, his pain. At first, he hated it. But slowly, he began to understand. His anger came from feeling powerless. His crimes came from chasing a life that was never his. He didn't want to be that person anymore. When Malik was released after 5 years, early for good behavior, he stepped into a world that felt foreign. He was 29, with a criminal record and no job prospects. The temptation to slip back into old habits was strong. His old crew still hung around, offering quick cash. But Aisha's letter, now worn and creased, stayed in his pocket. He couldn't let her down again. Malik found a job at a community center, cleaning floors. It was humble work, but he showed up every day, on time, with a quiet determination. The center's director, Ms. Carter, noticed. She was a no-nonsense woman with a sharp eye and a big heart. "You've got potential, Malik," she said one day. "Don't waste it." Ms. Carter gave him a chance to lead a youth program. At first, Malik was terrified. Him, a role model, But he knew these kids. They were like he'd been, angry, lost, searching. He shared his story, raw and unfiltered. He told them about the robbery, the prison cell, the letter, the change. "You don't have to be your mistakes," he said, echoing Aisha's words. The kids listened. Some even cried. Word spread. Malik's program grew. He started workshops, teaching carpentry to teens who'd never held a hammer. He organized talks, bringing in other ex-convicts who'd turned their lives around. The community began to see him differently, not as a criminal, but as a leader. He wasn't perfect. Some days, doubt crept in. Some nights, the past haunted him. But he kept going. Years passed, and Malik's work transformed the neighborhood. The community center became a beacon of hope. Kids who'd been headed for trouble graduated high school. Families who'd felt forgotten found support. Malik, once a nobody, was now a somebody, not because of fame or money, but because he gave others a second chance, just like he'd been given. One day, Aisha visited the center. She was 25 now, a teacher with a quiet strength. She watched Malik speak to a group of teens, his voice steady and sure. After, she hugged him tightly. "I knew you could do it," she whispered. Malik smiled, his eyes wet. "You saved me, Aisha." Looking back, Malik realized his life wasn't defined by the robbery or the prison cell. It was defined by what he did after. He'd fallen, but he'd risen. Your past doesn't define you. Your choices do. No matter how far you've fallen, you can always rise again. Second chances aren't given. They're earned through courage, hard work, and the belief that you are more than your mistakes. Broken, but he'd rebuilt. And in doing so, he'd shown others they could too.